We're all excited when it happens. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Inside Out, brought to you by Promise Resource Network. Today, we are going to talk about fear. Face everything and recover. Right? We're going to talk about fear and courage and see where that takes us today. I've got an awesome crew here in the house. I'm expecting some good chatter out in the community. So let's get started. Fear. Anybody got fear? I'm scared of shit. Yeah.
Have you woken up today?
I know.
Are you awake? Are you crazy?
It is everywhere, I think. Let's read the definition. An unpleasant emotion caused by the belief that someone or something is dangerous, likely to cause pain or a threat. Fear is a distressing emotion aroused by impending danger, evil, or pain, whether the threat is real or imagined. Whether it's real or imagined. I don't know about you all. There are some things, if a bear walks in a room, I need to be afraid, right? That's good. That's that the limbic system, all that's in the back of our head that goes, whoa, shit, it's a bear. Right? I need a bear. Oh my God, I'm so Southern now. I used to be a Northerner. Anyway.
Is not pronounced.
Northern? Well,
Just saying.
shut up. Fear.
This is how we love to start our Monday.
Hey, Heather.
Hey.
I thought you said beer.
No, it's not beer.
It's
Don't
beer.
be fear beer.
I fear beer. Some people fear beer.
Yes, absolutely. That recovery, losing our recovery to something can cause a lot of fear.
When I have
Yeah.
control while you're doing the influence. Like, I don't know what happened. I don't like that not knowing
Yeah.
what happened. Now I know. I don't like to be out of control.
I think addiction could cause some serious fear about where it's going to go. Am I always going to live this way?
But before you even do it, like you hear like people like, oh, you don't. No one talks about it or what it does or what it actually is. So there was a conversation before, so you only don't stay away from that. But no one has a conversation of why to what the actual reality of.
Well, that's it. I want to know what the why is behind the fear. Is it real? It says real or imagined. Sometimes I got some stuff going on that's not real. I'm afraid of things that probably will not happen.
I completely agree with you, Sharon, because I know, and I continue to go through this because of past experiences. It may be a new relationship or a new friendship or walking in this, kind of some unknown. And because of, some bad past experiences, I still to this day carry some of that with me.
Yeah.
So how I've been able to cope with that is, I talk through it for one. I try to have some self-talk, all of that stuff, and then just basically try to take a risk, because not all of my bad experiences necessarily, that has to dictate exactly what's going to happen. So that I wouldn't call it that it's imagined, but it's part of that trauma and stuff that I experienced in my past and it does, sometimes it's been a barrier to get through and has, gotten in the way of me experiencing new relationships. So, and I'll just say how I've also got through that was, I took some risks. I started small and trusting others. And, it's helped me, it's, expanded things for me, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That fear of the unknown, I think, is what gets me. Yes, Robin.
I was going to say my name is Ron.
Hey.
I can identify so much with what you're talking about, and I just realized it this morning, this morning when I went to my 7:15 meeting, and I didn't go out of the house Saturday and Sunday, that I have so much fear about meeting people and establishing friendships. And I tell myself that it's stunting me, but I like to be alone, so But, I've been hurt in every single way in the past, you know, backstabbing. No one ever screwed my boyfriend. I probably screwed theirs, but, but you know, you know what I'm saying.
Yes.
I'm saying what you were saying, and I feel like I need to stand tall and ask God, give me the courage and the strength to go out there and meet somebody. Crazy, I don't want to try it. I've just said all the things that bother me.
It's scary
It is.
when we've been burned before. We're basing our current feelings on past experience, and that's understandable. When I imagine isn't the right word, because my reality is my reality.
That's right.
You know, if I think something, it is real to me.
Mhm.
So that imagine isn't a right word, but something that's real to me that is not necessarily going to come true.
Mhm.
You know, I'm gonna fail at this. I'll never make it. This is not going to work. Da, 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 da. But I do the footwork,
Mhm.
Mhm.
right, and it happens.
And that overthinking, like, gosh, I mean, that's just, you know, picking something apart and, you know, trying to just filter through all of that, you know, that cognitive
Yeah.
stuff
Right.
that, you know, all of experiences and pain and hurts and stuff that we've, you know, been through, like pushing through that stuff. And, yeah, you know, this topic, what she said, fear this morning, and it's just wild how, you know, the universe lines things up because I experienced just this over the weekend. And, you know, you know, in the past too, and this is something I'm really trying to work on is the self-sabotage when it comes to that, because I will prevent myself in experiencing something good because of the things that I've gone through.
Yeah.
And I'm really trying. I've gotten so much better at it, but you know, it still comes up. It's that lingering shit that's, you know,
It's that trauma.
yeah.
It's the trauma we've had
Mhm.
that have caused us to react rather than respond.
Mhm.
Okay. When I react to things, when I react to fear, I freeze. You know, we freeze, we flight, we do something else. Todd, hold on one second. Todd's in the house. Heather said there's a song called The Breakup Song about breaking up with fear. Oh my gosh, I need to listen to that. That is cool, to break up with fear. I like that. I like that. Yeah, Porter.
I would say like fear for me, like I realized that even like you talking about my past, I think that I try to that's why I was gonna start telling my story. Now my fear is not real, it's not true, because the only thing I fear is if I realized the things I went through, I was doing the best I could. And the other side of fear is my future. I said, I no longer want my ego to lead me, because my ego wants me to survive, but I want to live. My ego is worried about how people perceive me, but I don't care how you perceive me. I want to live my life. And you know, my experiences happen to me for a reason. Life doesn't happen to me; it happens for me. So everything happens to me happens to me for a reason. So, and I know that my destiny is to go through those things.
Yeah.
Talk about them. And me talking about it is what's going to get me talking about the fear. When I respond to fear, when I react to fear, it has to put control. When I respond to it, I can utilize it.
I like that. When we react, it has control. Whatever it is, if it's a person, place, thing, emotion. When I'm in that space, it has power over me. The fear has power over me. And I don't want to be that way. Heather says everybody faces fear differently. Absolutely. You were saying, yes, Robin.
I just want to get this out. I thought about it. I'm an Air Force brat, as you know.
Uh-huh.
So I moved every 2 years of my life until I was a teenager. And I remember how traumatized I was when we got our first orders from Taiwan back to the States, and I had to leave my best friend, Teresa. I can't really remember many best friends after that till I got in high school, but I think I need to work through that in my mind. I need to go through maybe, it was, you know, I appreciate all the that I got.
Yes.
I've seen so much. But I really think down and deep inside there is that trauma of you're gonna leave, you're gonna leave, one of the two.
Abandonment and rejection, our biggest fears. You're going to leave me. I'm not going to get what I need.
But then I feel that for myself already whenever I thought about that. I'm thinking only projecting how I feel about myself onto other people. If I learn how to accept what I've been through, I can do the same to other people. But I feel like, oh, if I'm judging you, I'm already judging myself to begin with. So I got to realize that the things that I'm accusing other people of, I have to make sure that I'm not doing the same thing to myself.
Yeah.
I have to heal myself before I can heal you. I have to really know who I am before I can even get into this world. Like, that's why I be like that. I went through these things, and I'm like, if I need to be present in every moment so that I can get every lesson I need. Because if I'm not present, there must be point of me being here. If I'm coming to class and getting anything from me being here, what was the point of me even going to school from kindergarten to 12th grade if I didn't utilize anything that I learned?
It's about, and other people go through fear too. Other people go through fear, and I've got to appreciate that, and I've got to respect that because it is based on the unknown.
Yeah.
It's based on other people. It's based on my experience, what I've been through, and my fear about going through that again. Will I lose what I've got? Will I not get what I want? Heather says, even though we experience the same events, it does not lead to the same feeling. Same events. People, their perspective of things, right? I may not fear the same thing Courtney does, right? Because of her experience. I'll give you a good example. My wife, if there's a gunshot in our neighborhood, I duck it behind the couch, right? Right? You know what I mean? Yeah, that's it. She's out on the porch going, what the hell y'all doing out here? And I'm like, get your ass in and get behind the couch. But she doesn't get it because she hasn't had the same experience. And even if she had, her perspective of it would be maybe different. So what I fear based on my past experience causes me to react. Right. What do you think, David?
Well, for me, fear's always been like almost like a double-edged sword. Because I learned very early on in life how to confront certain fears.
Nice.
Because I had no choice.
Yeah.
Coming up in an abusive household and stuff, I had to face it more often than I ever wanted to when I was a child. So I learned that sometimes it's got that halt, like paralyzing, debilitating effect, but sometimes I end up finding like insurmountable amounts of like courage to try. And so fear is kind of a good and bad thing for me, because if I allow it can keep me halted and not pursuing certain things.
Yes.
But if I embrace that fear, in a sense, that's where I find that courage to overcome that challenge or like apply myself to achieve that goal. That so it's kind of how I approach it. And sometimes I get stuck in that halted phase before I can find that courage.
To get stuck.
Yeah. I mean, and that's a good thing about having a network or something, people I can reach out to and stuff, because sometimes they pull me out of that halted phase and then I'm full force into that, well, I'm going to conquer this. Like, just another challenge.
Yeah.
Go
ahead.
Oh, sorry. I really, that makes me think healthy fears. And and you were basically what you were saying, y'all have to excuse me, it's Monday, I'm a little but filtering through it and giving yourself some time to like process through some stuff, but not getting paralyzed by it. Yeah. I completely relate to that. Completely. Betrayal was one of the biggest things that I've always struggled with because, once I found myself in recovery, the things that, qualities I wanted to possess, right? How I wanted to treat people and being honest and loyal to people was on one of the top of my list. And so when because of some of the things I've gone through, that I think is one of the hardest ones that I struggle with, that particular one. However, it's ours to own. It's ours that's what's ours, right? And no one can dictate and tell us how we're supposed to feel. And, and I just think that the important thing is what, recovery has given me is, some of those tools to break free and find the courage to push through. I just love recovery because I remember when I first I go to a 12-step fellowship and I was terrified. I would not pick up a reading. I felt just so awkward. I was so afraid, this was just so new to me. Everybody would be laughing and conversating and I just wasn't that person at that time. And now here I am. I'm sitting with Karen, talking to the world.
There you go. There you go. Well, hold on one second. Go ahead, because I forgot.
I read this quote that says, "Nothing in life is to be feared, only understood. Now is the time to understand more and fear less."
Oh, I like that.
Understand mental health, I would fear less. If people in this world understand what mental health is, they would fear less. If they understand what we were doing in this room, they know what was going on there. We came here and they had understanding what was going on. You wouldn't fear it. You understand what that bear is. He's more scared of you than you are of him.
Yeah.
That dog that you see on there, that's ferocious on there, he is terrified.
Yeah.
That's how he shows how he's scared. He's scared. That's how it's a defense mechanism.
Yeah.
If we realize that people around this world, their actions are only a symptom of what they're feeling. I don't judge your actions because I know it's coming from a different place.
I heard a story one time about you come across the dog and it's very hostile, barking at you. And you, for some reason, you get a little closer. But you see that its leg is caught. So that's the reason it's so hostile, because it's hurting.
Mm-hmm.
We have that too. I can be hostile.
Yeah.
When I get in fear, I can be a and that's not what I want to be today. I don't want to be that. So when I face my fear, you're talking about facing your fear. That's facing my fear is scary for me. So that flight, fight, or freeze is it, or fawn. I learned fight. We go towards the thing that we're afraid of. Flight, we get the hell out of there, and freeze. I freeze, and I fawn, where you try to manipulate the situation through behavior on yourself. Being nice. That's what I do. I'm so nice. Yes, yes.
I hate to bring up a higher power. I hope that everybody thinks that's okay. But when this is what I know for sure. I don't have to face it alone. I have the power of you all, first of all, and then I have the power of my higher self to get me through. Never has let me down. Got me sober. So I just wanted to say that because I love what he's saying about getting through what you said. I really love that. And I have some things I need to walk through, so I'm going to try. First of all, I need to walk through my inability to have friends, to go deep, So
that's it. The support network, being afraid to connect to other people. I understand that. And being afraid to trust them. That's the key. Yeah, because we've been, like you said, we've been burned in the past.
Yes. Sometimes the process, knowing that what you're going through is going to strengthen you, not to harm you at all. I need to go through some of these things that I'm fearful. When I walked into PRN the first time, I was fearful.
Yeah.
Until I got here. When you come here, like you can fear all your things all your life until you step into a room and understand what's going on in here.
Yeah.
I can finally do it. If I don't try things, I won't go and I want to go.
Yeah.
So I'm going to step into a room. I'm going to be careful. That's how I grow it.
There is so much fear in the world today, so much misunderstanding, so much judgment, like was said earlier, and it just doesn't work. to keep a society going because we fear each other. I'm afraid of what you're going to do. You're afraid of what I'm going to do. You know, we're divided because of misunderstanding. And that's it. We don't understand the other person, so I'm going to fear them, and then I'm going to get hostile towards them. I mean,
And what you were saying too, Robin, about the higher power, you know, and it started to make me think about, you know, me being, you know, responsible for my recovery, right? But I get to how you identified the things that you get your strength, you know, from, you know, and being able to identify those things that we feel safe with. And that's where how I think we get to shape what our recovery looks like for us, because not everyone's is going to look the same. I struggled with that for a long time. Like I thought that, okay, I'm walking in here, it's got to fit in this box. And, you know, and that's it, right? All or nothing. And slowly, once I started to just talk to others, get their knowledge, their experiences, it started to shape and shift, you know, what my recovery looked like. And, you know, and that's what's really been helpful for me, because what might not, you know, work for me, work for you, vice versa.
Yeah.
So, you know, developing those safe places, those
Yeah.
safe connections, you know, has been so rewarding for me. And, you know, just leaning into that when I do get afraid, you know, when can I surrender, or when can I just be transparent with someone and say, hey, look, this is what's going on, or put it out into the universe, or whatever.
Yeah.
That is, you know, and that's what's helped strengthen me, and it's, you know, continues to give me courage.
I like that. I like that a lot. Good job. Good job. It is, Heather says safety, and it is about safety, to be safe with people, but I don't know who's safe to be with, right? And based on my past experience, I want to not trust anyone, right? However, there's a way that I can connect with people still, right? The way some people say this isn't right, but it's the way I do it. I test people. I give you some information. If you don't gossip, judge me, or whatever, I may give you a little more. If you do the same, if you got my back, if you don't gossip about me, if you don't tell the world, I may give you a little more and more and more. And that's where I build that trust, because I want to be able to learn to trust again.
Yes.
That's the key, to learn to trust again. And to do that, I've got to be able to trust through my fear, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
David?
One way I learned to overcome some of my trust issues was I learned to like observe and watch people's actions.
Yes.
Because that's all I've always heard that my whole life. Actions speak louder than words. I mean,
This is such a great topic.
Oh, yeah.
I begin to notice certain like tells, I guess you could say, about people that I felt I could trust
Yeah.
due to the way they were living, their actions, and how they went about their day-to-day life. And I was like, you know what? Seems like a stand-up person to me. It seems like somebody I can tell some of my secrets or some of my story to, and not run. It's not going to get everywhere, and they might actually give me a good perspective on how to overcome or how to at least process it.
We learn from others. My friend Gina says, I'll always give her credit for this. Don't tell me about your recovery, show me.
Yeah.
And I love that, because a lot of us are used car salesmen. Man, we'll sell you some shit, ain't that true? But I'll say wonderful things in a meeting, but if I go outside and gossip, or I'm judging somebody or something's going on, that's not what I need. To learn from others based on what they do. And I want to hang with those people that know how to face fear, that know how. David Nipport.
It reminds me of a quote that I saw on Facebook yesterday. just because someone is nice to you and they're rude to the waiter, that doesn't make them a nice person. So you gotta, again, those actions and observe people and how they are. I mean, just because you one way in a meeting or one way somewhere, if I run into you at the transit and you're like, you know, that don't make you a nice person because, you know, we all have experience with wearing masks for different, whatever reasons we have.
Yeah.
And it's when you start to observe and watch people's actions, that's when you start to see their real self without the mask, and then you know you can trust them.
Wow. In itself.
Yeah, we're gonna do that.
Put on a mask. What are we?
Yes.
What are we hiding? What are we hiding from? Damn.
That's a whole glass. Hey, stay tuned. Stay tuned.
Stephanie's in the house. All right. She says this is a great topic too, Porter.
I appreciate when people are honest about it. Sometimes when people have fear of public speaking, but you have to like, I'm a little nervous, guys. You
Yeah.
have to let people know this is where I am, and then people give you a little bit more grace.
Yeah.
I'm fearful of being walking into going back to the school. And I'm going back to school. I'm fearful of that. I'm saying out loud. I'm fearful of it, and I talk to people who are going back to school later on in life. I have a support group now. Like this,
Yeah.
it is now you're more mature. Now you're able to be more present in school because now you know what you're going to do with your education, opposed to when you were younger. You just went there and going not knowing what you're going to do. Now I appreciate going to school because I did it because I wanted to, not because I had to.
And the fear that can come along with that, I appreciate that too, Porter. It's a scary thing to try something new, right? It's a scary thing to take off the mask that we have. It's a scary thing to stand before a person that we may need to confront about something and do that and confront them or just speak to them about. You said it, we understand. If I want to help you get over fear of me, I need you to get to know me, and vice versa. You know, we can hate a whole group of people. That's easy. You can hate a whole group of people just based on maybe one experience or what we get off of the news or what we were told as a child. But it's hard to hate one person if you know them. I am a lesbian, and there are some. What was I going to say? And we love you. Yay! And there are some people that can't handle that you know were raised in that they're an abomination. Blah, blah, blah. But once you get to know me, it's hard to hate me because I'm so charming. But it's hard to hate one person if that person is important to you. And if that person has a certain characteristic, you may more accept that thing. You may better try to embrace that, understand that, because it's part of that person. And it's hard. It's easy to hate a group because we just judge it, right? It's hard to hate an individual if you love them. And that's what we're doing here. We're changing the world one person at a time by loving them. If I love you, you're less likely to hate me based on our experience, right? Stephanie says, personally, I have to feel a certain amount of the safety before I can face fear and take the mask off. Absolutely. Safe inside myself, if nothing else. Sobriety is a great first step in feeling safe. Absolutely.
I love that.
Yeah.
Easing into things.
Yeah.
You know, that is, you know, because my such an impulsive nature that I have, you know, that came from years of substance abuse and, you know, things like that. And so that is something that, you know, once I set that stuff aside, I still had that nature, you know, and because I took so many crazy risks. Like, I didn't give up, you know what? And so I try to be more mindful about, you know, just easing in slowly. And, you know, I love that Stephanie said, you know, being fearful to take the mask off, and it takes a while because, you know, I can relate to that so much because it took a long time to love myself. And I didn't know, like, are you going to accept me for who I really am? Because I feel like shit. I don't like the things that I've done. I'm not, like there was a lot of that stuff that I felt as a result of, years and years and years of ongoing self-destruction. And I just, I did, I would show up, and also it was survival mode too.
Yeah.
And that's what I had to do. And it's taken time, just like I said earlier, like walking into those meetings when I first came around, and I couldn't pick up a reading just to open the meeting. Like I was afraid. But yeah, I feel so much better, and the woman that I became today, and I'm still working on now, I feel that I have been able to, be who I want to be, like who, and I started loving myself more and being like, it's okay. It's okay. This is who I am. Who's going to stay is going to stay, and who's going to go is going to go.
Yeah,
And
you were two great examples of what you're talking about. Of loving oneself and being able to put one foot in front of the other. And I know it's usually fall. Sharon's like a way up she can't go. But, I know you're not perfect. But I like what you're saying, and you're a good example, and I need examples.
That we learn from other people. We've got to. I don't know how to do this shit.
Uh-huh.
I didn't get the book. The book of life. Yeah.
Especially when I got into recovery, when I was first trying to find a sponsor, it was like, find somebody who's got something you want. I was like, well, what does that mean? I'm like, no, watch how they are and how they live their
Life,
and things, and then use that for an example of, what you want out of life.
Yeah.
And get that person to take you through the steps.
Yeah.
I'm like,
What?
What a boring concept.
Yeah.
And then I started noticing, okay, well, this guy, he's got some good time. He's
Quality.
he's got some. He's got a nice personality. He's a likable guy. He's got a vehicle holding out a job.
There you go.
Well, how about that? That guy's probably a good fit. I would like to be responsible individual for once, and all that. It's not what
I can't relate to
that. Yeah. Adulthood sucks.
Responsibilities and financial obligations and blah 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 blah. But you know what? At the end of the day, after you take care of all that stuff, your rent's paid, your bills are paid, you got food to eat, you got laundry detergent to keep up washing your clothes and all this other stuff. And you're like, damn, that's that sense of accomplishment. Wait a minute. I've done, in just a couple of bills, I done dropped like almost $700, but
I'm done.
ain't nobody got it. As long as I abide by the lease agreement, can't nobody say, well, you got to go.
That's if you're taking the action to stop the things that fear can cause.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
self-preventative measures.
Yeah. And a lot of that has, for me, and my recovery has to do with my responsibilities and my commitments and stuff like that. Because responsibility and accountability go hand in hand with me today.
Yeah. I'm going to read Courage because that's what we're all talking about.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
But you never go look in a society where anybody talks about their fears.
Yeah.
You never have a song about fears, especially for men. It seems like it's some kind of weakness.
Yeah.
I'm scared of this. I'm fearful of this. It's natural, it's normal. We all, as human beings, we're born with these kind of, that's survival. We're supposed to fear things. That's how we know to not go down there. We know you have to do certain things. We're scared about fire over there. That's a natural reaction. But it's men, we're not supposed to feel those things because we're supposed to be the courageous one. No, it's the courageous to say, no, I'm scared of that. I'm being honest with you. Maybe we all need to go together. Maybe even me being my father not being there hours for you men also.
Yeah.
You go back, open the door. Somebody's scared. Come back. No, let's all go there. Maybe, no, baby, I don't feel as courageous as this guy. It's you as true I do because of my sex. I can't control what I was born into. in the society I was born into, the body, the color I was born
Yeah,
into.
yeah.
People fear me, they don't know how scared I am of them. Even people like cops, if you understood a cop, now I have a cop in my life, but personally, now I understand him on a human level, it just takes the fear out of him. Now, he doesn't, you see him outside the uniform, he's a regular person, has family, stress and stressors, and you have no clue what his life entails.
We see him as a human.
You see it as somebody authority, somebody you can be fearful of. No,
Yeah, if you see him.
he's scared of you because he's scared of you and harm him because you see, you understand them?
Yeah,
If you understand people going to drug addiction, they're more fear, you're more accountable than they are for you.
yeah, absolutely. And that's the key to walk through these things, to be able to understand that we may have been lied to. We may have been lied to about this fear thing. Walking through it can be difficult, can be challenging. What else can it be? Help me.
Paralyzing you.
Paralyzing, yeah.
It can feel really uncomfortable at certain times.
It does.
It can, and you can learn from it
Yeah.
too. I just thinking about, those situations and, and if I, replay it in my mind, like, okay, this isn't the same situation, but it's similar because the feelings are similar, and apply that,
Yeah.
to that situation. And I think that that's like finding the courage to try to do something a little differently, or, taking a healthy risk for yourself.
Nice.
It makes me think about that. Yeah.
Courage is the ability to do something that frightens us. Courage is the choice and willingness to confront agony, pain, danger, uncertainty, or intimidation. Physical courage is bravery in the face of physical pain, hardship, even death or the threat of death. While moral courage is the ability to act rightly in the face of popular opposition, shame, scandal, discouragement, and personal loss. I can walk through these. I can confront. I can say to myself, is this true? Is this true? And work through that. Reality. Is this my reality? Yes. Is this what I want? Can I walk through this and get on the other side? Can I confront this fear of other people and connecting to them in a way that allows me to be vulnerable, in a way that allows me to increase my tribe one person at a time?
You can realize how many things that we've come through with. Well, I'm speaking for myself. I think that come through my past and survive. That makes me feel fearless because I've been through so much. And I realize, like my brother said, you can't have faith and fear at the same time. You're never going to trust God that He's going to do what He did for me. I'm not here by myself. I'm here for a reason. God has an assignment for me. And my assignment is to fulfill by being me and telling my story.
Yeah.
And being honest and authentic about what I've been through, being transparent. That is what I went through what I went through so I can actually connect with the people. There's a reason why. Before I even was born on earth, God knew where I was going to come from. He knew where I was going to come from. And I had made it because a lot of people didn't make it to where I am. So I'm here for a reason.
Yeah. We can use that fear to find our courage. I've got to see in the past where I've made it and the possibility that I'll make it again. Oh, someone's calling me.
It makes me think of, when I started, I was going to Hawthorne back when PRN was over on Hawthorne. I'm sure some of you remember that location, but I went in there and I was in the middle of a process where there's so much uncertainty. And, I was searching for hope. And, I think what I did was, I kind of allowed my peer support at the time in. I mean, that's my truth. And so, during the process and everything and the uncertainty and, the fear and, damn near just being frightened, the whispers in my ear, like, you can do this. I went through this too, even though the situation was different, the feelings were the same.
Yeah.
So, that helped me in a lot, and I'm just, super grateful that I did. I gave myself that chance to allow someone in and trust in that. Or I might not even be here today, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, that was an ongoing theme for me for a long time was I had so many walls up. And, you know, I felt like I could just face the world alone.
Yeah.
I got this. I'm an only child. This is how life's going to be. And, you know, yeah, it stunted my growth. And that's exactly what it did. Yeah. And I let people love me. You know, I didn't love myself. So.
People don't even leave the city block to explore even outside of town.
Yeah.
Like when you don't allow yourself to just step out of your comfort zone, you may be uncomfortable, but you don't know what you're gonna get out of it. Maybe somebody needs your story over the outside. You don't know, God, with your story, you have. I want to be affecting more people than this my group.
Yeah.
I want to be able to go into different spaces and tell the things I learned. Because it doesn't serve myself an injustice to only allow myself to just be here. I want to be able to travel. I've been all over the world, but I want to be present and go there with intention to do something that spread my word and talk about things like these. These kind of conversations are important. Not had very often. That's when I take the opportunity to use my social media for. Important conversations. It's up to me what I do with it.
I think, like you were saying, that as I walk through these things, I don't know, do we have a choice whether to walk through? I've always heard that this is a 12-step thing. If you don't work the step will work you. If you don't work fear's going to work you. Right? That's my thing. Don't ever pray for patience because it will mess you up. Robin.
I think if you don't face fear and walk through it, you will become an isolationist.
Yeah.
Because fear's gonna stay there. It's not gonna go anywhere. And in your mind, it might get bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
So, it may take, I'm a procrastinator, so it may take me time to get through that fear. But I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. And, that's the story for me.
Fear is courage to walk through it. Fear is understanding. Fear is communication. Fear is the opposite of connectedness. Right? That's what I want. I want to connect today. And that's the answer, I think, to all my problems. Connection to people that can help me get through. Connection to people that will allow me to understand what courage is because they're doing it. Because they're walking through.
And finding you a community like I did at PRN to get you through whatever that looks like for you. That connection, for sure.
Yeah. It makes a big difference. Okay. You want to connect? Call PRN. Darlene's in the house. All right. Call PRN. Our warm line is the shed. Okay. It is 24/7, 365, a call away from a peer support specialist that can listen, that can give you resources, that can help you walk through that fear. We're here and we know what to hear. We listen, we see you. Sometimes that's the most important thing. All right, share this if you got something out of it. If you didn't, do it anyway. What the hell? Somebody may need this. Somebody may be walking through fear today and need this information that you've given. All right, I want to thank my crew online. Heather says, kumbaya. Oh, yeah. We do that here. We kumbaya now. We're all hippies. So share this. Call our warm line. Keep peace, share love. I'm glad y'all were out there. Thank you.
Right. So